Hey guys, welcome back to more Magic the Gathering. Today we are drafting my Goldless cube. So our pack one pick one was a Cold Steel Heart over um, some other less flexible colorless options. Um, my recording had a little bit of a lag, so I needed to catch everyone up there. Here I kind of like Trumpeting Herd. It's a guaranteed 2-for-1, just a really flexible green card. Um, so I'll take that. And pack one, pick three, we're getting past a Goblin Guide and a Cudgel Troll. So like there's potential that I should move into mono red. There's potential that I continue on this green path. But also there's Damnation. And I'm kind of in the mood to play control, so I think I may take the Damnation, even if I think really the Goblin Guide might be correct. Because that's what I'm being passed, right? People are passing me red deck wins cards. But I think that I'm going to go with the Damnation. And these, I mean, this kind of choice occurs the tighter your power band, in my opinion. This is an easy Bloodstain Mire. So, like, the tighter the power band of your curve, the more often you get to choose the quote-unquote sweet card and have it be equally viable. Like, the Goblin Guide is probably better by, like, 0.5%. I'll take Sleight of Hand here. The other black cards are good, but I think that we just need the consistency in terms of getting through our deck. And we'll find more Doom Blades in the future, hopefully. I'll take the Opt here. Right now, there's no reason to think that I'm going to be Grixis, although that could happen. We look like we could just be blue-black, so like I don't want to move into another color unless there's something really powerful to push me toward that. Alright, Easy Languish. So we've got 2 Wraths. It's a great start in pack 1. Future Goblin's fine. That's like a really decent sideboard card if we're against like aggro or something like that, where we need like a double blocker because it blocks twice, which is really powerful. So for 2 mana, it's basically Glenalendra, but for 2 mana. So I guess what am I looking for in the next packs? We're going to need finishers, of course, so we'll be looking for blue 6s, black 6s, and like colorless things that are ridiculously good. The Cudgel Troll Wield, whatever. That was kind of anticipated. Card's very good. It's a 4/3 for 4 that has Regenerate. People really underestimate Regenerate as an ability. Pardon me. Yeah, Cudgel Troll is a fine card, just not the deck we're playing right now. It would have been really slow on these packs, so alright, well, here's an Ugin. We talked about how we needed some finisher. And I think the Clash Rules is a weak enough card to where like taking the Ugin here is fine because it gives us at least a win condition. It's not my favorite win condition. It costs 8 mana, so you know it's hard to cast. Moss Diamond is just an easy pickup. So yeah, like 8 mana is hard to get to, and there's a lot of power in playing like a 6 mana spell and being able to hold up like counter magic, removal, etc., etc. So like double spelling in control is just as good as double spelling is in your other decks, right? So Nixilis is like pretty decent here. Planeswalker that acts as removal, Planeswalker that draws me cards. There's also Fibblethip, which is a decent pickup, but I think that that's pretty likely to wheel. Even if there's another player playing control, people really undervalue small creatures control decks. Oh, sorry, I'm very yawny. Grave Titan is just a better win con than Ugin. It closes out the game much faster, it impacts the board immediately. I mean, Ugin does that as well, but for 2 more mana. So Grave Titan just seems really good here. There's Treasure Cruise as well, and that's a fine option, but I think I'm going to go with the Grave Titan. This is a 6-man draft, so we'll be doing 5 packs and 9, by the way. So when there's some extra packs, also I guess explaining how small the packs are, right? That makes a little bit more sense. Now everyone's up to speed on what things actually are. Lay with Bear the Heart is a fine card. It could see main deck play, it could not see main deck play. It's just kind of dependent. Guardian Idol is an easy pick. Yeah, as it turns out, mana rocks are very powerful. Even when they come in tapped, it's very good. So you pick Quarantine Field. There's a potential world in which we end up playing Esper, I guess. We're less likely to play Bug, so I would say that Quarantine Field is a better pick for us than I don't even remember what the other card was now. But Thragtusk, on the other hand, is a card that actually makes me want to consider Bug. Life gain is just so good. Gaining 5 life is huge, especially in metagames where aggro is very powerful. So at the very least, it's something that can be a sideboard option where we just put in a few more green sources, play the card that's going to gain us some life. As much as I want to take the Sky Diamond, I think I need the fixing from the Water Grave here. Big Chandra is really powerful. Very good against control. Gives us like an incredibly challenging axis on which my opponent can interact. Basically, they can't interact with it. Stream of Possibilities, good pickup. We don't have that many cantrips yet, and well, I'd like to have more cantrips. Omen versus Supreme Will. I think Supreme Will is slightly better, even though it costs 1 more mana. It's just more flexible. And that added flexibility is a big boost to the card. Vivid Creek, rather. Steam Vents is fine. In case we want to run the Inferno, Chandra Inferno, blah blah. I kind of want to take Jace here. We don't really have that many things that can win the game. So, look, another mana rock. Fatal Push is decent. Also like Resto Angel if we want to like splash white. Counterspell, V-Click, Counterspell. Like those are basically the cards in that pack. Will Kenrith is just broken. So that's an excellent pickup. I'll take Glorybringer, that eats Planeswalkers for breakfast, which is pretty decent. I'm going to take Archmage's Charm here. Like, I want to be base blue, and I think it's got enough upside to be worth playing over 5 mana red cards. Like right now, I'd prefer to be just blue-black and then bring in Chandra against control. Scalding Tarn, it's a great pickup. If we do end up being Grixis, Control Magic is just a really powerful card. Like, yes, fixing, but Control Magic's just really good, and we need more ways of winning the game. Also, just like a huge tempo gain in the mid game because it acts as removal against your mid range deck, or even against your aggro deck where you take, you know, their best creature, and now you can like block their other creatures with it or start swinging tempo in your favor. That happens rarely, but there's a Terror and a Dead of Night, or Dead of Winter. I'm kind of leaning toward the Terror. We don't have any spot removal, really, other than Fatal Push, and that's like really limited in scope. And we have 2 Wraths right now. There's a decent possibility that one of the Wraths from that pack wheels. Never Return, kills Planeswalkers. We need kind of something like that. Alright, Jace. Jace is the way we can realistically win the game, so I'm in for that. Alright, so that was the last pack. We want those cards in. Never Return, definitely. Fatal Push apparently didn't get moved up there. I definitely want to be on Never Return in the main board. I definitely want to be on Watcher for Tomorrow in the main board as well. I think Lay Bare the Heart can come out. We don't have a ton of ways of interacting with the hand, so like hand interaction or hand destruction gets a lot better when you have multiples of that effect, because you can start to like whittle away your opponent's resources. When you only have one, it's just like a bad counterspell a lot of the time, and I think that being able to interact with the board might just be better. What else is there? There just might not be room for the Watcher for Tomorrow, even though I think that it should be in the deck. I can go with 8 and 5 on my mana sources. Still have like 8 black sources and like 10 or 11 white, I guess. Alright, so we're making our rounds. Let's head into our round 1.
It looks like we lost the die roll. 2 lands, Guardian Idol, some uncastable triple blue stuff, Terror. This is probably fine. We've got a Wilkenrith too, so we've got like places to go with the hand. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Kithian. Alright, so we drew a second island. It's pretty decent. We're playing against like what looks. We know it's at least some form of white aggro. At least should be. We hope it's not like some white green mid range deck with Kithian in it. Although I suppose that could happen. The lower your curve, the more frequently you're going to see decent, resilient 2-1 threats show up in your mid range decks. Okay, down to 18. Darksteel Axe. That stinks. And a Student of Warfare. Great. Supreme Will is not excellent, but it's something, I guess. We need to find a Wrath, and we need to find a second black source for said Wrath. So we didn't pick up a Night Incarnate or Dead of Winter, so we have no like mono 1-pip black Wrath effects. So we need just need another one. Another Swamp and Wrath itself. We don't have a Wrath right now. Alright, we're taking 3. Not sure if I love playing Imposing Sovereign there, since you don't really need another card, but it's probably fine. It just makes him weaker to the Wrath that I'm about to cast. I do want to Terror this Gideon, because I don't want it to flip. It's very hard for me to deal with once it's flipped. I mean, I could Archmage's Charm it, but I don't think that's ideal. I think playing another land here is not that important. I mean, missing our land drop sucks, but I think that actually being able to hold up Supreme Will might be useful. Useful enough to where I think that holding up the counterspell is correct, even though it's close. Like, making my land drop this turn so I could play another land next turn would be beneficial, no doubt. But, concealing information is also a valuable resource. There's a swamp. That works. We could have taken the Scalding Tarn and gone for Watery Grave, but that brings me to 2, which I'm not like super hype about. One mana off from Will Kenrith. Oh, Sarah. Okay. Well, we have the Fatal Push plus the Guardian Angel, so if he like makes an Angel, which is probably the correct play here, then yeah, we can kill the Angel and then kill the Sarah. Mantra Priest exiling nothing. Alright. Equip, sure. Just gonna pass. There's definitely an argument to like playing Will Kenrith there. We're just gonna block this instead. Just kill the creature. Um, Alright, Mavrin, which is just a white Rabble Master basically. Alright, play and equip. You got it. I think we just Shimmer of Possibility here. See what's coming up for us. Okay, an Opt is pretty reasonable. And we can just kill this creature. Gideon. Ugh, the turn after we cast Never Return. I mean, hindsight is, always 2020 something something. We're gonna have a really hard time beating that card, so I actually don't think we can beat it, since the Never Return was our one kind of answer to that kind of card. Other than counter magic. So let me check my deck go. Like maybe there's a world in which I could kill this creature. Or well, rather Planeswalker. Nope. I mean, we could play a Grave Titan. Like our out is just to play a giant thing, and then kill it. Alright, so I guess we sleight of hand and see what happens, and then. But if we sleight of hand and don't find a land, yeah, like it just doesn't work. We would have to play Will Kenrith. No, it doesn't even work because it's not a creature at the moment. So yeah, there was no way to actually stabilize except for casting the Never Return from my graveyard to make a 2/2. Sleight of hand, find Grave Titan, play Grave Titan next turn, chump with a 2/2, and then start to take over the game. That's the only out, I guess. I could have played that out. So anyway, we're boarding now. I don't think we want to move into Grixis against an aggro deck. I think, if anything, we want to trim our curve. Play, Putrid Goblin and Isreth and some other stuff that we like randomly got that can clog up the board. So yeah, winner. What is it? Watcher for tomorrow, or what? Watcher tomorrow. That card comes in. Even if it's like the worst blocker ever, since it comes in tapped, it's still pretty reasonable. I think Will Kenrith is the cut just because he costs 6 mana and doesn't like he's very slow. It's like a Grave Titan costs 6 mana and just says, "All right, well I won the game." Alright, this hand's decent. It's got removal, it's got cantrips, it's got a counterspell, it's got a mana rock. Doesn't have anything that turns tempo in a favor, but it's got all the things that you can really ask for from a hand. Definitely want the Languish. Alright. 2/1 with flavor text. It's going to play out Moss Diamond. This gets us closer to basically any spell that we want to cast, or double spelling at some point where we can hold up a number of different things. Valley is kind of annoying. Control Magic doesn't quite do anything yet. Just pass the turn. For what it's worth, I think there were some misplays in game 1. The Never Return over just casting the Languish when my opponent's in top deck mode was maybe a little bit questionable, since it was a more flexible answer to things, and I'd already seen a Sarah Benevolent. There was a play before that was maybe a little bit weird, where I chose to block with the Guardian Angel instead of, or Guardian Idol instead of just gaining control of the Darksteel Axe and forcing my opponent to play into something, or just playing Will Kenrith, plussing on the creature rather, and then doing something else, because that's like just a lot of tempo gained, and I think that's probably worth it. Alright, so here we draw the land that we needed. We were pretty, like, I was just willing to concede to not having the land I needed, but yeah. Because, yeah, I could kill the Thalia there or whatever, but if I don't draw a land, I'm just dead. Gideon. I can't cast Counterspell thanks to Thalia. Yeah. There's a world where it's probably right to, like, Fatal Push the Thalia so that you can hold up Counterspell. Alright, well, I'll Control Magic your 2/2, I guess, which feels terrible, but it's the only way I'm staying alive. I need to find um, Never Return. Friendly Mare. I'm not going to counter that. That's fine. I'll just Fatal Push it instead. Sack a land and then Fatal Push it. That's pretty decent. Spellseeker doesn't quite... What does he get? Let's see what he gets. I think it's probably Shimmer of Possibility is the best card that I can get at 2 mana or less here. So Big's 4 cards deep. There's also like Terror, which I could get like the Terror and then kill the 2/2, pressure the Gideon, kill it, and I can't even kill it fast enough to not die though. And like Gideon's indestructible, so I can't can't kill him when he becomes a creature. Sure, opt here so that I can hold up Counterspell. I think I don't know. I may have rushed that, like rushed because I felt the pressure of like I'm spending a lot of time on this decision. I should make a decision. I think that maybe Shimmer Possibility was better as a way of like digging to the card that I need. Relic Seeker. Yep. Alright. Well, we lost there. Again, I think there were some things we could have done better. Shimmer Possibility over Ops was probably better. Technically, we could have countered the Relic Seeker so that he didn't have lethal if we did get the Never Return. Although I think if we got the Never Return, we just could kill the Planeswalker and then also exile from his graveyard and have a 2/2. So then we would have probably been able to come back. So, because then we could have like blocked both of them. But we're just like dead to any creature we can't answer. So it's probably better to counter it. We weren't like in a position to have like the luxury of waiting to counter, you know, something better. So, all right, we're on the play for round 2. This seems fine. We've got double black for our Languish. We've got Mana Rocks, and we've got Cantrip. Right? Mountain Stromkirk Noble. Okay. So play land, play out Cold Steel Heart, name black. And pass the turn. Alright, take one. Card against two aggro decks is kind of unfortunate for us, seeing as those tend to be our worst matchups. Play out another Mana Rock. Pass a turn. We can hold up Fatal Push and Counterspell here. Counterspell costs us some life, but that's worth countering though, so yeah, it's definitely worth 3 life, that card. There was a world in which I could fetch for an island, or I could have fetched for just a swamp, sorry. The Archmage's Charm. But Archmage's Charm was the card I was thinking about that caused me to not do that. Because it requires triple blue. May have been greedy though. Just gonna kill that now instead of watching it continue to grow and beat my face in. Wish I could counter that. Fiery Confluence, destroying my 2 artifacts and hitting me for 2. Yikes. That slows me down so much. That really sucks. So we're probably going to need a draw 2 with Archmage's Charm. Instant Speed Divination mode is one of its more common modes. Yeah, that's fine. We can languish the tokens away. Oh, good. Lance. Ravelmaster and Soulscar Mage. Alright, so take 1. Sleight of hand. Yikes. Let's get Terror and kill the Ravelmaster. I'm going to play a Swamp. Flame Tongue Kavu. Yeah, now we're just dead to not having Wrath. next turn, so if we don't draw Damnation, we lose. Yep. Alright. Our board strat's going to be the same thing that we did last time against aggro. I don't think really anything changes that much. Although we can bring in Thragtusk here, since like gaining life is actually really valuable. Bring in one force. We have the we've got the Cold Steel Heart and Moss Diamond. And the Vivid Creek as green sources, so I think this is fine to bring in Thragtusk. I keep wanting Chandra kind of in these matchups against aggro, but then also feeling like the splash of double red is too taxing on my mana. Like Thragtusk I'll make an exception for because it gains so much life, it just basically says I win the game. And Ugin feels awful. Just like no way of ever casting it, ever. Alright, Scalding Tarn, go. Ooh, that was wrong. I should have played the Bloodstained Mire. I guess it doesn't really matter since I have the Star Compass. But slightly more optimal fetch would have been to find our blue-black with Bloodstained Mire since... Well, I don't know. I guess it's like pretty close, to be honest. Yep, take one. Shimmer. Oh, Damnation. That's a good card. Although, I think Vivid Creek might be better, because Vivid Creek allows us to cast our Thragtusk. Yeah. I mean, we lose 5 life for this, but we end up gaining, like, a lot, because we can block a creature, gain life. That way, like, that's gaining life, like blocking a creature, right? Oh, man. No, now I can't cast my Thragtusk. Stop disenchanting me, opponent. Alright, well, we can double spell with this hand. Or we could just fetch and then cast Dig Through Time. But I think we probably want to double spell and kill the Stromkirk level 1 hold up counterspell. I think I'm going to counter that. Alright. Yeah, I'll just take the 3. Because, like, if I draw a Wrath, like, my goal is, like, Wrath and leave a Beast behind, right? I'll block the 1/2 though, because like if he wants to put a bunch of spells into killing my Thragtusk, I'm okay with that because those are spells that aren't hitting my face. But I'm not just gonna like throw it in front of the 3/1. And just lose it because first strike. First strike is so good. Pia and Karan. Okay. Man, I really wish I had Dead a Winner. I was surprised that neither of those cards wheeled. Alright, Languish and Supreme Will. Actually, I think I should actually block the Porcelain Legionnaire here, as much as I don't want to. I'm just so close to dead with the Thopters, and yeah, I'm very close to dead between the Thopters and any burn spells he might draw, so I like blocking here, because it gives me a little bit more time to win the game, which is pretty important. Guardian Idol does not help me here. Although I suppose it's a clock. 7 turns, I can win the game. But I mean, I'm going to hold up Supreme Will instead, I think. Supreme Will / Counterspell. My opponent could have sacked the Porcelain Legionnaire there for flavor. I don't know why they didn't. 1, 2, Fire Ambush. I'm going to take it. Galvanic Blast, I'm going to say no. Alright, Loxodon and Warhammer. You got it. Isroth is the perfect draw, because now we can reanimate the Thragtusk. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Oh, that's synergy. I didn't even mean for that to happen, but that's freaking hilarious. Okay, yeah, my opponent top tech Grafted War Gear. Wow, okay, I did not expect that to be the way the game went. Whew, that was close. It was really close. I think we just run it back. There's not really much to add from the sideboard. I mean, you could argue that Lay Bare the Heart is decent since it can take away a burn spell or a Rabblemaster before it hits the board, but when you draw it late against a deck that wants to be Hellbent all the time, it really sucks. Like, you would rather it be any other card. So, like, it's only good on turn 2, sometimes turn 3, but we're on the draw, so even on turn 3 it's not very good. Control Magic is a card that I consider too. But I think this is fine. Alright, we have Glenelendra, which is a pretty good card. Especially when it costs 2 mana. Turn 1. Lightning Berserker. Oh man. Alright. Just gonna opt on his turn. Right, double pump, sure. Ow. Star Compass I'll take, actually. I think that's decent. I think I'll just play it here. Even though playing the Putrid Goblin would give me a blocker, I think that it's better to build my mana so that I'm building toward languishing away whatever creatures he plays. Oh, okay. He's just gonna beat my face in with a Lightning Berserker, I guess. That's the game plan. Alright, Thragtusk is a good draw. Let's start with Putrid Goblin, I guess, and then we can go Shimmer Possibility. Watcher for Tomorrow is good. Oh no, that was a Vivid Creek at the top. That wasn't an island. Oh man, I made that decision too fast. Vivid Creek will allow us to play the Thragtusk. Arc Trail, okay. Comes back. Fork Bolt, okay. Oh man, that's so bad. God, that's terrible. Watcher comes in tapped. Like, we're just dead to, like, him having good burn spells, though, right? So, I think this is still correct. Both of our green sources. Oh, man. Yeah, I think that taking the Watcher was the wrong play, and that if I could have played the... So if I'd drawn the Vivid Creek, I could have gone Languish Away this Lightning Berserker, Resolve Thragtusk, and that's probably enough. I think Watcher for Tomorrow was a trick because it looks like it's a 2/1, right? So it looks really good on paper. But I forgot that it enters tapped 1 because it's new. I have not played with this card at all. And the other thing is the Vivid Creek would have just given me the game, I think. We're like almost guaranteed dead to burn here. Yeah, the misplay probably cost me the game. I think this was actually winnable. Yep. Exactly Lightning Bolt because I can't counter it. Yeah. Jeez, man. It sucks. But, you know, I mean, that's the way it goes sometimes. You know, it's great that the game was close enough to where one micro decision, you know, made or broke the game. So, yeah. Anyway, all right, let's head into our round 3. Okay, we lost a die roll, but let's get a win here. Let's let's win a match. Which, like, to be fair, I think our second round was very winnable in game 3. I think that our game 1 in round 1 was very winnable. So I think our record could be better if we played better. yeah, I mean the deck itself is decent. I don't think that it's bad. I think the least impressive card in the entire 70 or whatever, how many cards are in this thing, 45, right? Would be Ugin. Like it's a colorless card, and I've not considered bringing it in once because it costs 8 mana. Just so crazy because Ugin's incredibly powerful, like to the point where it's almost absurd. But in formats without fast mana, he's just not, doesn't cut it. Alright, so my opponent tapped out for a mana rock here, and I get to resolve a Jace, which I think my game plan is just to uptick this into a win, actually. My opponent's not doing anything. It looks like they're playing 4-color or 3-color control. So upticking Jace to win the game is like pretty valid. Alright, Tireless Tracker. Alright, so my opponent tapped out again, so I get to go Obnixilis minus, kill the Tireless Tracker, and then just keep plussing my Jace. So yeah, like, I think given that we ended up only having 4 people, so we started with 6, and then 2 people dropped mid-draft, and so we cut them. And but anyway, I think given that we only had 4 people, I definitely have the strongest control deck at the table. I don't have any doubt of that. I think that we took the best options we could at every point of the draft. At least I think so. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. But I like the picks that we made. Alright, so we can languish this away because we can't really target it. That costs 5 though, my friend. You gotta tap out. Can't hold up Quench. Alright, so we drew our card for the turn. It's a never return. That's pretty decent against, again, what looks like control, because he's bound to play a Planeswalker at some point. Oh, sorry, we hadn't drawn 4 Obnixilis yet, so that's where that extra card came from. Play Languish and uptick Jace. Just keep moving him toward ult, because that's a win condition. And the faster you can win a game, the better. Alright, Karn. That's fine. We have to never return to deal with that, so I'm not that worried about it. If he makes a token, that kind of sucks, and I'll have to minus the Obnixilis to kill the token. And then I'm going to struggle. Next, his token's actually pretty big right now, too. It's a 3-3. Consecrated Sphinx and Ugin, so we upticked. Give me those. I want Ugin to exile on Consecrated Sphinx to his hand. Because I can't really deal with the Ugin, but I can deal with the Consecrated Sphinx in my deck. I know that I have a Terror, at least, in my deck somewhere. And we have, like, we can see 5 cards next turn between Jace and Obnixilis. Okay, so we can see 4 cards between Jace and Obnixilis. Yeah, so I'm not worried about the Consecrated Sphinx though. Yeah, I assumed he would take on Merciless because it's a way of killing his Consecrated Sphinx. So he wants to like get rid of things that can deal with it. And look, we top decked the Terror. We did it. Pure skill. 10 out of 10. Just going to put Jace to 5 here. Just to give us a little bit more insight into what we have in our deck. The reason was so I could find a land. So now we can never return away the Karn. We can never return away the Karn and exile the Glyphkeeper. So that's why I was trying to get the... I was trying to minus for the land. Because yeah, now I get to basically 2-for-1 my opponent, or 3-for-1 them, because I get a 2-2 as well out of this shebang. So exiling Glyphkeeper, though, prevents him from getting that back, and then I can Terror the Consecrated Sphinx in my upkeep and just keep upticking Jace. And my opponent's on 1 card, and I have Dig Through Time in hand. Well, he's got the clue tokens, but I don't think that compares really to Dig Through Time and an active Jace Planeswalker. Like, even if I don't keep moving Jace to ult, I can keep minusing him to value and win the game that way. This can be really hard for my opponent to beat. Like, even a Grave Titan, right? Like, so. Yep. I never return to be in exile. I don't. Alright, so we'll fetch. Just get an island. Let's try that again. Cockatrice is being a little bit laggy. Get an island. There we go. Yeah, so this recording was done after the game, so I'm exiling Never Return here, but note that shouldn't be able to happen. And I played my mana so that I could hold a counterspell, which I wouldn't realistically be able to do. Thankfully, we didn't draw a counterspell, because that would have changed the outcome of the game and would have been unfortunate. So, but Archmage's Charm and Grave Titan are excellent pickups. I had mentioned Grave Titan before. That's a card that I want in order to win this game. Or at least that improves my chances of winning the game by a large margin. Jeez, look at that lag. It's amazing. So this is like 4-color control. Sideboard will probably cut Fatal Push. Draga Tree Speaker. I do not care about that at all. I wouldn't even steal that with Archmage's Charm. Rampant Growth. All your ramp at the wrong time of the game, my friend. I feel like he doesn't need green. What is he playing green for? Tyler's Tracker? Like, I mean, he could have been light on playables, but I doubt it. Because if you're in Esper, and I wasn't on white control cards, and the white weenie deck wasn't on white control cards, you probably have a decent amount of white controlled cards at your disposal. So I think he could have just been Esper, judging on what I'm looking at here, and that Rampant Growth and things like that only really add to a slight acceleration, but not really advancing your game plan in any other way, while also putting a tighter constraint on your mana base.
I think it's just better to not play those. Gravy boy, go! Alright. Swing for 2. And uptake Jace. We'll basically counter anything that looks even remotely threatening here, so... Yep, that's something I'll counter. That can threaten my Jace, so, like, in addition to affecting my hand, it can threaten my Jace, which I don't want to happen. So, I'm pretty happy to counter that. And now it looks like we're probably going to get Wrathed. Sure. Winds of Wrath, you say. Alright, so I get 4 lands. Sorry, it's Winds of Abandon. Winds of Wrath is a different card. It's like destroy all creatures that are not enchanted or something like that. They can't be regenerated. Also in the cube, but not the same card. Jeez, it'd be cool if I just like drew something that wasn't a land after putting 4 lands into play. But hey, Primeval Titan is a great card because it makes it less likely that you will draw a land. I'm going to take Control Magic here. I'm not worried about Damnation. Alright, uptick Jace. Your turn. Kill Jace or lose. So I will put Will Kenrith and some other random bullcrap into play, and you will lose the game. Alright, buffing the Draga Tree Speaker and then doing it again. Okay. Let's do it. It's a world where we like uptick like out of pure greed, but I really don't think we need to do that. Just win the game instead. Alright, sideboard. Let's bring in Chandra. She's amazing. Yeah, it's just, as I mentioned earlier, it's just an uninteractive axis on which to beat control. Take out an island, take out another island, or maybe a swamp for 2 mountains, or for a mountain and steam vents. Do we need that many mountains? I don't think so. I think we can get by with 4, 5, 6, 7 red sources, right? Cold Steel Heart, Star Compass, Bloodstained Mire, Scalding Tarn, Mountain, Steam Fence, Vivid Creek. That's 7, so we don't need 2 mountains, I don't think. What else do we want in this matchup? I can see an argument for like Glorybringer because it kills planeswalkers very easily. But this might be the only swap, and we just cut Fatal Push. Wherever that card is. Where are you, Fatal Push? There it is. Yeah. I think that's a reasonable, like, 1 card swap, plus, you know, the mana base adjustments to support it, but yeah, it's such a good card that it's worth the risk. Like, my opponent's not playing anything that's really powerful that I've seen. Maybe he's got something in his list that's green that's very powerful, but it doesn't seem like there is. It's also worth noting that we played against we played 3 rounds and didn't see any green. So there's potential that when we were drafting, that if we didn't draft a control deck, we would have been better off drafting a green deck, and that deck might have won more games, especially in an aggro dominant 4-man pod. So, like, that's something worth thinking about. I mean, that said, like, the matchups that I had were winnable. I lost matches to being bad at Magic, not to my deck, I think. Um, round one, I don't know how winnable game one was. I think if I gave a little bit more time to my thoughts, or like my plays, that I had a better chance at winning, playing to my outs and things like that, right? But I think that the game one was winnable if I really thought through some stuff. Game two was not winnable. I mean, there was like the marginal gain of being able to like kill the Thalia first, then wrap the board, then hold up Counterspell for the Gideon. That would have won me the game. But I think that holding up the Fatal Push was generally a better play. And the reason I think that is because you want to like Wrath and then still have an answer for their follow-up. But I guess Counterspell would have been the answer for the follow-up. So maybe Fatal Push was fine to play. Yeah. So yeah, maybe round one was probably winnable. Round two was definitely winnable. I lost game three to being bad at Magic. Sorry, I'm not talking about this game right now because this is really easy. You just play the mana rocks and you get ahead on mana against your control opponent in the control mirror, and then you play big things and try to win the game. So anyway, round two was definitely winnable. We like saw me punt game three twice really. Because like even after I think I'm just supposed to jam Will Kenrith here. Even though I don't have the second mana for Counterspell, I think it's correct. We named red with Cold Steel Heart, by the way, because if we do draw Chandra, we want to be able to cast it. And that gets us one pip closer to casting it. Just going to uptick here. And then that makes it to where like next turn, because his minus isn't like really good the turn you play him. It's really good like the turn after you play him. So that I could like have a reduced Jace Architect of Thought or something. Otherwise, it's 6 mana Divination, and that's really bad. Yeah, that's fine. Now we gotta like play Jace or Grave Titan instead. Yeah, like we're definitely playing Grave Titan here. He's only got 2 mana up, so if it's a... Oh, he's got 3 mana up, never mind. It's still Grave Titan here, though. Because, yeah, like if my opponent kills the Grave Titan, yeah, it's a little bit harder for us to win the game. But again, we have the Chandra, which can't be countered, and, you know, it has an uninteractable axis on which it wins the game, and my opponent has all lands. So we end up getting there. Cool. So those were really close matches with a lot of decisions, many of which I fudged, but close matches that I think were pretty interesting to play and watch, and yeah, overall pretty decent draft of blue-black. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.